Howdy, howdy, howdy. Bob's Back Biker News Canada. So today we've got a special one for you today because we're going to do an extra interview this week. So tonight is our first interview of the week. Don't forget, before we get started, I want a quick reminder out there. Don't forget, if you were around Ontario during around 2000s and you saw the big change with all the big biker clubs, I was in one of them. I wrote a book about it. Get the book, One Night at the Playpen. Contact me and I'll send you a signed copy, or get on Amazon. All right, let's say hi to my guest tonight. This is Lennox, and I don't really know how to pronounce the club, so I'm going to get him to pronounce it. Hey, Lennox, how are you, bro?
How's it going, brother?
Good to meet you. So how do we pronounce the name of your club?
So it's a bit tricky because it's very vowel-like. So it's actually Ulnug.
Oh, that's tons of vowels.
Yeah,
Or
it's
sounding
all.
vowels.
It's
What's it
not.
mean?
So the whole point of our club usually stems from that title alone. So it means two things. Actually the real name of the Mi'kmaq tribe. So some people call us Mi'kmaq, some people call us Micmac. It honestly depends on what generation you're part of. But the real name of the tribe is actually Ulnu,
Oh,
and Ulnug is the pluralization of it. So Ulnu literally translates to like a person or person of the tribe,
okay.
or whatever, in the context of what person means. And then Ulnug means the people.
The people. Okay, like just in general, the people.
Yeah, the people of the tribe specifically. Like you wouldn't use that term when you're saying like the people of this place. It's Ulnug.
Right. See, and the English would never try to use that name because it's too
No.
hard to pronounce.
The funny thing about it is Mi'kmaq actually comes from the Mi'kmaq word for my family, meaning me, like Mi'kmaq. Because when the first
Oh,
European came, they asked, what are you?" And the guy, one of our ancestors said, "Mi'kmaq, that's my family."
my family.
And then that was around roughly the same time they were naming every person who was Scottish or Irish Mick or Mac because they didn't want to learn how to say son of in Scottish Gaelic or Irish Gaelic. So they just call
Right.
us Micmacs. So it was like a multi butchering of our term. So
Isn't that the
Mi'kmaq, sorry.
so the Mac part of it came from the settlers.
Yep, Mick and Mac. They both came from the settlers because that was the club. They were just like, oh yeah, Micmac. I'm not learning Mi'kmaq. And the subtle difference of saying Mi'kmaq and Mi'kmaq. There's a subtle difference at the end that means like inclusive, exclusive, or inclusive, exclusive, animate, inanimate. Like one little letter, one little vowel changes everything.
That's
So
now. Are they teaching the kids in the schools that are native their own language, or do they have to pick that up somewhere else?
Um, in my community, we have for the longest time, we had the only immersion school in the world for our language. Now there's two. There's one in Bokengek, which is mostly known as Afton in Antigonish. But yeah, I mean, most people pick it up by their own families. That's where I picked it up. That's where I learned it. And I was also in the immersion school. But for the reading and writing part of it, it mostly comes from the immersion school, and then also when you go to a native school. So like my reserve had its own school right from daycare, kindergarten, all the way to high school.
Oh, you
There's
don't see
other
that much in Ontario.
No, you don't see that much really anywhere else too. Like on the island, there isn't really that either. It only goes up to certain grades. It's usually never high school, and if it is high school, it's really integrated into littler schools.
I see.
It's just that fact that Eskasoni, our home community, my home community, is the largest reserve east of Montreal, and it has a population of almost 5,000 people. That's why we were able to have that.
Right. Yeah, it's lots of people.
Yeah.
Is Oak is considered like a big place, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's why that statistic always says east of
East
Montreal. It's
of.
talking about
Yeah.
Oka and
That's
Kahnawake.
why. And then what's the other big one? Is Six Nation would be the big one in Ontario?
So Six Nations is the second largest reserve in North America, and it's the largest in Canada.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
the largest is the Navajo reservation down in the states.
And then Six Nations is after that for
Yep.
size?
Six Nations is the second.
For size or for population or both?
I think population. I don't know too much about the size. Sorry, I don't know too
Yeah.
much about population wise. I don't really know too much of those statistics. And I only know my own reserves population statistics. I know the neighboring ones have about uh I don't know, sometimes there's between 300 to 500, sometimes 800 at most. That's usually the average for most reserves.
That's about it, yeah. We got I live in London. We got like one area, but I think it's got three different things. We got a Chippewa Night of the Thames,
Mhm.
and then we've got Muncie. I think is a different subset or whatever, however you would say it without being offensive. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't want to talk like a dick out here, right?
yeah. And usually when it starts getting further and further away from your own tribe, you tend to not really
You
take a stab at it either.
right because it's not your thing. It's not where you're at.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
some of them you can make an educated guess, like the Ojibwe and Anishinaabe. For myself, there's a lot of similarities between our languages, so like I can make a educated guess, but I never ever will bet money on it.
Right on. I'm gonna do a quick shout out to the chat, bro, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Blair One Percenter, thank you for dropping in, brother. I always appreciate you. And Steve, good to see you, bro. And O Livingston Channel, and haven't met you before. Thanks for dropping in. And Josh asked, Delaware Nation at Moravian Town. Oh, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's where he's from. Good to meet you, Josh. And Chris Morose, good to meet you too. Cheers from the zoo. I'm pretty sure you know what city I'm talking about. The zoo is the zoo. You guys got Batchawana all around the zoo in Rankin. I lived up there for a minute or two. And Josh is down by Chatham. Oh, that's cool. So there you go. So we got some First Nation interest too. That's cool, dude. Now this thing with the Every Child Matters thing that's a pretty big deal, right?
Oh yeah.
With what? Hey, Lulu. So how like how much does it? Do you guys get into it and it affects you and all that stuff?
So like every child matters, like movement and everything. Like, it means a lot to every single one of my members. It means a lot to my community, my tribe. And one big fact I'll always tell other clubs that we meet and we talk about this event and just also like that whole thing in general. I'll always point to myself and the rest of my guys and be like, you know, every single one of us, every other native you ever meet, every single native you see in my club, we're all directly affected by it. We either have parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and then it continues down those generations that all were forcefully taking part of it. So it affects all of us directly.
And all the way across the country too, isn't it?
Yeah, and time dilation too plays a big part. Like in the East Coast, Shubenacadie was the only residential school in the east of Canada, so it was particularly brutal because there's so many people getting pulled. The entire Maritimes, everybody, every native had to go there, and
That's
then
horrible.
also for my partner's parents, they both went to residential school, and they're not much older than my own father, but they're from Saskatchewan, and the last residential school that closed in '98 was only an hour away from where they lived.
And it ran all the way till '98.
Yeah, that was the last one that closed
Wow.
down.
You would have never thought that, eh? You would have thought they would have figured it out by the '70s. Hey, maybe we shouldn't do this to people.
Actually, it was '97.
Wow.
There was also others saying in '98 there was another one that closed down, and some even say '99. But the last official federally funded was '97 or '96. I'm pretty sure it's '97.
Hmm.
But still, like that was the last one, and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law were both part of it, and that took a big like it took a big it was a pretty big realization when I was like, we've had about like I've had about two generations to recover and rediscover,
Right, right.
and you guys are still dealing with the open wound. And it's like
Yeah,
you were just this you're on the other side of the country and this was going on. So to us it means a very big deal. And then for our particular area, all the last residential school survivors are old or gone.
yeah, yeah.
And and when we try to like help them, and when we were trying to get this right on, because that was something we always it was one of our biggest commitments in to our cause that we always wanted to do was an Every Child Matters ride. It's just like one thing bikers all, no matter what club, what affiliation or anything, they all agree on.
Kids.
It's always taking care of kids.
Yep.
And to us, it wasn't just part of that being part of our biker culture, but that was part of our tribe and the sole reason why we survive.
Right.
So that was that was always big and dear to us, and we knew we had to take the lead on that part. And it was also pretty shocking to us to realize that this type of event, an Every Child Matters ride, doesn't not popular. Like not really going on anywhere.
Probably not unless it's hosted by a First Nation club, right?
Yeah, and it's like I mean, I get like it doesn't have to be, right?
Mm,
But it does make sense.
yeah. Yep, yep. No, makes sense. But on the other hand, anyone could pick up the horns
Yeah.
and
That's
say, "Hey, let's do something about this," right?
yeah. I mean in this the club that's supporting us are our close brothers, the Celtic Crew and Celtic Creed specifically. They wanted to do this for a long time as well, but they always had respect and waited for us to catch up to take the lead on it.
Right, right. Well, that's good for them. And you say you guys are good friends and they give you a hand and they help you. You know, they support you and help you out with the run and everything, right?
Yeah, and we've helped them out quite a bit along the years as well. So it was only fair and fitting, and that's ultimately what it's about: just making friends, making memories, give respect, get respect.
Exactly. Now, do you guys? So Josh from the chat, you wanted to know a couple things. Wants to know if wheat is. Do you guys got all the little wheat shacks around your res like we do in London?
I'm pretty sure that's a universal thing. Yeah, we do. Has become a pretty universal private and adventure. I know some communities snuff it out, so I won't say every reserve, but it is pretty popular. My reserve in particular, yeah, we have quite quite a few, and within our own. So Cape Breton has five reserves, five main reserves,
Oh wow.
and every single one of them, oh yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of good shops. Somebody will go to like Canadian Tire or wherever have you, and buy one of them garages and set up shop, and everybody goes there because it's walk next door or something.
Yeah, down here they got the Mennonites who build a shed that's just the right square footage, right? And
Yeah,
they'll drag it right over for you and set you up, and you put your run your Jenny, and away you go. You're good to go. Hi,
yeah.
Brad. Good to see you. And then Josh, the ride that Holy Gully does isn't for Every Child Matters, but they do have a ride coming up this Saturday for I think one of the sick kids. And good to see you guys, Brad and MacGyver. That would be C. Good to see you, bro. Thanks, you guys, for coming along. Some friends from the States. And John, I'm interviewing John tomorrow. Sorry about this, bro. We got to get back to you. So, yeah, and see, this isn't something that is Baca involved in Every Child Matters. Here's a question for you. Do you know if Baca gets involved in it in any runs for Every Child Matters?
I
Or
don't.
you
I've
know?
never seen them in my area, in particular, take the lead on any doing a ride of anything like that for Every Child Matters, because Every Child Matters all is like was more directed towards the injustices to Indigenous children and the never ending cycle of intergenerational trauma, whereas Baka is for everyone regardless.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
So they never in my experience at least, they never seem to go to one. They always want to do all. So
sure.
I've never seen them do specifically in Every Child Matters Right. I've definitely seen them do all kinds of great work for that specific cause as well,
Yeah,
like donations and everything else. I've seen them do a bunch of great work as well. But again, it's like if you're not native, you tend to not want to touch a native movement because one little wrong, thing you say or thing you do could ruin the
Right.
whole thing. And it's just better. It's just a safer bet not to get involved, but support it.
Yeah,
So
and like you just said, I think that's probably the best approach is
mhm.
to support it and come in as a background player. You don't want to be disrespectful to people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I wouldn't put on a Portuguese run because I'm not Portuguese. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got their thing, and bless them, because it makes way more things for us to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone can come on your run,
Yeah,
and
anybody.
in fact, it's encouraged,
Yeah, and you don't
right?
even have to do the run. Anybody can show up and show support. You don't have to be on a bike to go to a biker event. You just need to have a bike to go on the ride.
Exactly. So if you want to come out and it's right in Cape Breton, right?
Yeah, there's two locations. So there's in member two where we're doing the registration, and then in Eskasoni where it's ending because that's our home community.
Okay.
There'll be two locations. You can get a peek or show some support wherever is closest because the island is very windy.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I've never been out there. I've got no idea what it looks like out there. And there's I'll put this actually it's in the Biker News Facebook group, but there's a poster with all the info on it. You guys, if anyone watching this at any point is from that area and you want to go show your love and support, then there's all the info for you. And I'll get as much of it into the description as I can when I do the thing on the thing. So yeah, so and you know what else I really noticed it, and I really I kind of dig it and admire it with some of the First Nation clubs is they're really out there to help their community, right?
Oh yeah,
So maybe I'm just thinking about the Warriors from Timmins, the Timmins chapter in particular, because I just followed them and I like what they do. Right?
yeah.
They help the food bank. They'll help with some blankets, some socks, and warm clothes. They'll whatever. Right?
Yeah, and we've done similar things too. Like we've done food banks as well. We've done food bank rally. We've done, we've taken part in that. We've done all kinds of things like that as well. And that's one of the biggest things as well. And we just kind of help keep the peace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
And
not a bad way of looking at it.
yeah, and this for this particular thing for the ride as well. When we asked the elders, again, this type of event hasn't never really been done before. So it was not a clear there wasn't a clear, battle plan how to properly donate, how to do anything. So
Right.
it took a lot of trying to figure out, and we all talked to a lot of our survivors. And one thing they all had in common was how much they stressed the importance of education is to our own youth.
Okay.
So because
So
and
is there a pot that you can put your money into that pot and it gets used for what you want to get it used?
Yeah, so it's exactly it. So we asked them, okay, so what would you like us to do? And they said, I've lived my life. I've made peace with it. I made peace with what happened. I've done everything I set out to be. You speak your language. We still speak our language. You still understand it. By the way, these conversations are usually not in English.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've spent their whole childhood being forced to speak English. They don't want to speak English in their end of their days.
So they're done with it.
Yeah, pretty much. They'll still speak English, and they love to tell non-natives, "Oh, I don't speak English." They'll say, "Oh, muagla se alisik," and it's hilarious because the people believe it.
They probably speak the native one, the French one, and the English one.
Yeah, we always tell them like they speak English. They just won't speak English to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because lots of you guys down east are bilingual, aren't you?
In our own language, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you trilingual if you count in your language too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I know in Munster, like in Quebec, they're very bilingual. Some of them are even trilingual as well. But like for my language in particular, it is most spoken on Cape Breton Island. We
Oh,
have the
I
most native speakers, and the most concentrated part is my reserve. So with our club, it was, the constitution we had was you have to be one of the people in order to wear the people's patch in order to serve the people.
but all said in your language.
Yeah. So it's like And you had to with like we'd all one universal thing we all say as native clubs is, it's hard to walk the red road, meaning the native traditional way, right?
Hmm.
It's even harder to ride it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Actually,
so
I've seen a couple references to the Red Road since I started, noticing and watching and talking with the native clubs, right?
mhm.
Which is kind of weird. I'm kind of it's impressive that you guys put a riding club together. That's First Nation because most of the other ones are MCs. I don't think they're one percenters, but I think they're MCs, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do have the goal to be an MC, but we're also patient.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. So you're working in and you're heading for that direction.
yeah, exactly. And we when we got into it, we wanted to start out as an MC, but the more we learned and learned and learned from
Hmm.
this world, this life, we're like, let's make sure we got all our eggs in the basket. Let's make sure we got everything right because we've seen it. Everybody in this life has seen it. A club can rise and fall so quickly if they don't have their shit together.
Right, right.
So we're
Yeah.
like, we want to show our pride. We want to show because our patch is literally a story of our history, our culture, everything. Every little detail it gets overlooked, but
It,
our own
it
people see it.
it is. It's an interesting patch.
Yeah. Actually, you can like describe it all here. So so the headdress style, most people picture the big war bonnet, right?
Hmm.
And that one looks more like a crown. And the reason for it is because that's our style, our own specific tribe style of a headdress. There will be eagle feathers that just come out straight up and it looks like a crown.
Yeah.
And there's seven eagle feathers on there because the number seven is so significant to our tribe in particular. So we have the seven districts, our seven traditional districts land that made up our land, right? Traditionally known as Umnuegadi, but now in modern terms referred to as Mi'kmaq. And it's one of the big significant pieces of it, as well as the fact that there's also seven sacred teachings. And that is ultimately the code each of our members live by because that is how our tribe survived. So the seven sacred teachings are truth, honesty, humility, love, courage. I'm missing another one here. Truth, wisdom. Yeah, I have them written here.
Yeah.
I always save the
Crib
last
notes,
one.
man.
It's honesty, humility, truth, love, wisdom, courage, and the one that's universal amongst all clubs, respect.
Right.
And the reason why we set that out is the reason why, like, as long as we have those in mind, as long as we are operating within those seven, we'll always be doing the right thing for our tribe, for our people. And
I like
then, and then it was obviously the seven districts was where we would serve our community. It wasn't just our own reserve. We planned to serve our entire reserves all across the seven districts, which now encompass Nova Scotia, PEI, south of Newfoundland, and the whole east of New Brunswick, and even a little bit of Quebec that borders that same part of New Brunswick.
tons.
And it also was to reference the fact that our club was founded by seven members. So seven, the first seven we call them. And then there's spotted eagle feathers because in most native cultures, in particular, and especially in ours, I won't speak for every other tribe, but universally, spotted eagle feathers are the usually the most respected and are usually known as the most powerful of them when it comes to prayers and ceremony because of its rarity.
Oh,
Most commonly, you'll find either the black feather or the white feather. Not always will you find the mix of the two because it's always in a particular spot on the eagle. And then the bonnet itself, right? That hieroglyph in the middle
hmm.
literally translates to "I respect." And it's
Oh,
put in the middle because we respect every aspect of this and we respect everything. And that is one of our core values. And the two on the side that look like little loops,
yeah.
originally, it has two meanings. Originally, it depicted somebody rowing on a canoe which usually reference somebody traveling.
Yep, and it kind of looks like that.
And that's what we put it on. And then we also learned as well, there's a different variant of it, but that one's also used that represented our tie as Ilnu people and our connection to the land, everything that's all the resources within the land. So we also accepted that as well because we are viewed as in the whole club world, we don't claim territory, but
Okay,
we are keepers and protectors of our tribal lands.
okay.
So that's why we put it on there. And then the circles on it, which are out on the side,
The
the one on
four.
the left, the one on the left and the right, they were both found in Nova Scotia approximately 10,000 years ago, carved in the stone. And the one on the left is an eight-pointed star and was the original emblem of our tribe's Grand Council, which is our sovereign traditional leader since our tribe's time immemorial. So put that on there. And then the one on the right depicts a constellation that was put in the stone next to each other. That one has two meanings. Uh, the most populated and accepted one is that's where most of our own people believe we go to the stars when we die. We go to Wasso, is what it's called,
Okay.
heavens. So we put that on there because all these things, you know, we will still honor once we get to the afterlife. And then there's also others in older folklore that believe that's where we came from. There was like a big conspiracy about it.
You guys put tons of thought into it. You didn't come into this just kind of swinging, swinging for the fences. You put.
Yeah.
What do we got here in the chat? So Josh says here, I seen that crazy Indian Brotherhood of grow fast. It's a lot about the people from what I see online. I don't know anything about. Are they a club or just kind of like a group? I don't really know what what Brotherhood of being the only funded race. I don't understand what that means. Rides in the East Coast, yes. The rides in Cape Breton, Steve. That's right, yeah,
Yeah, the Far
yeah.
East Coast.
Cape Breton, yeah. I don't know much about it. If you ask me, I just seen it fall a bit. These natives sure look white. What culture are you clinging to? Free on air. Oh, come on, bro. That's kind of a bullshit thing. Let's not go down that way. I think I'm gonna take you on out of the chat, bro. You know what I mean? I'm trying to have a fucking respectful conversation with someone, and they want to throw in shit like that in anyway. It's not worth repeating.
Nah, it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll get the negatives along with the positives. I think
Like,
you know I think if it's part of your heritage and you feel it, it's part of your heritage. And if you want to hang out with other people with the same heritage, it's your God given right.
oh yeah,
So you know what I mean? And that doesn't be First Native or whatever. That could be whatever your heritage happens to be.
yeah,
There's the Celtic Brotherhood. It would be most people from Celtic heritage, right?
oh yeah.
Like
And that stuff usually doesn't bother me anyway. I've dealt with it my whole life.
see, it bugged me. It pissed me off. Sorry,
Yeah.
bro. I hate
To
it.
me,
It
I
bugs
to me,
me.
I like it even more when people, will say like, "Oh, you're native," or be like, "Oh, you're white," or whatever. Because like to me, when they say, "Oh, you're actually native," prove it, and I'm just like, well, the fact that are thinking I'm native, it's a compliment to me. It's my own like, among as my own people, growing up looking white, they never really fully accepted me either, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're white." So when somebody else is like, "Oh, you're actually native," prove it. I'm like, apparently
Well,
I am.
and I think that's where he was coming from, trying to say that you look white. Well, you know what I mean? So Lulu wants to know if you're considered an elder yet, or if there's like an age thing to become an elder,
A
or is
little
that
both.
okay?
Like for me, I am too young to be to be considered an elder. I'm only in my early 20s. I'm only 24, so
Oh,
like, I'm not an elder, but
exactly.
yeah, there you don't have to actually be the elderly age. You know,
Hmm.
it's also measured in the wisdom of being an elder.
Right.
It's usually the teachings. If someone, like I've known somebody who's in their early 40s is considered an elder because they did their fast, they did all of the cultural milestones you need to do. And and they have all the teachings, they speak the language, all the things that what an elder is obligated to do as an elder. That's what also grants them the right as well. It's a respect and knowledge thing more, but age does play a part in it as well.
That's what I was gonna say. I would hazard a guess that if you show lots of input in your community, you'll be respected more, and you know what I mean. Like if you're one that just wants to hang out and go watch TV all day and don't care what's going on around you, then you know you'll be overlooked. So what else? Oh, sorry, dude. Tiny screen. I asked because he's so knowledgeable. That's okay, Lulu. And then that question wasn't disrespectful. You know what I mean? Yeah, or
Yeah.
at least I didn't think so. And
No,
thanks for showing up. No Mercy Sheep. Good to see you, bro. Josh wants to know if you guys are doing it like the MC World, all Harleys.
not all Harleys. We prefer Indians usually.
Oh yeah,
We'd rather be an Indian on an Indian than an Indian on a Harley.
that
It's
that
usually what they
doesn't
say.
that doesn't bug you that they use the insignia and all that.
No, not really. I mean, I know there are quite a few that do, but it's also just like it's not being like, yeah, sure, it's on there, but it's not derogatory. It's not saying like, oh, bad Indian or this type of thing, and it's not really a slur.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's actually showing that the motorcycle's strong, is it not?
Yeah, like it's like be proud where to ride an Indian type deal,
Yeah, yeah,
quality, this, that, like American made, powerful, all the like good stuff. And we're just like, yeah. And it's not often we, get a bike where it's like, most of the stuff they put on there is like on my bike, it's the chief with the headdress, right? And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I would have to pay like thousands of dollars for an air spray design just to get that on my bike anyway, if it was a Harley. But if it's an Indian, it comes with it.
It came with an emblem on it. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So like it would be different if it was like a different slur, like with the Redskins. It's like, we're not
Right.
Redskins.
Or the Edmonton Eskimos. I always wondered why they called that team that.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
calling the motorcycle company Indian, in my opinion at least, and most of my guys' opinions, it wasn't really derogatory. And if anything, it's the incorrect term. So if anybody should be offended, it should be the real Indians from the
right, right.
east.
Exactly.
And I
Well,
don't think they care because it's like indigenous First Nations of North America is on there. So at the same time, both parties could look at, oh yeah, you should care, you should care. Ends up being nobody cares.
exactly. Yeah, no mercy. You got a good point. It's only racist if you hate the person. Like if you meant it to be racist. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there's no hate towards it. Like to the like I'm pretty sure they like named it Indian back in like what 1903
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like
Way back
it
when.
was yeah, like they're like, oh yeah, just like fantasizing the Indian, right? Like he's free, he's in the wild, he's riding like the wind, he's reliable, he's strong, he's this, he's that. That's probably
Yeah,
where it came from because I know a lot of companies named their things after Native American things because it represented like freedom, strength, even though they're the most oppressed during that time. But that was like the persona, right? So like,
hey,
and
Mark,
today
thanks
it's like
for
not
popping in.
derogatory.
Well, yeah, yeah. So like, but like you say, like Redskins is you're taking it over the. So like the baseball teams over they were called the Cleveland Indians, right? Did
Yeah,
did they switch all their logos in that?
yeah. I think they're called the Reds now, and it's funny they were called the Cleveland Indians, which part didn't get like pointed out a lot. They call it the Cleveland Indians. It was originally called the Cleveland Spiders, I believe, but they call
Oh,
it the Indians because they had the first Native American in MLB history. It was
so
actually from Maine,
it wasn't a slur.
not
It,
at the time,
it was to
and like
celebrate.
yeah, and like they named him that in honor of him because he only played 2 seasons because he was from the reservation. He worked on a mine. He got tuberculosis and died of black lung.
Oh
He
my
had to cut his
gosh.
career. He had to cut his career short in 2 years, and then he died shortly after. So they named it the Cleveland Indians in honor of him. And that was the part that got you know taken out, like left out of the context and whatnot, and they changed it obviously with all these big movements. Every team's got to change their names, but that was the original reason why they called it the Cleveland Indians. And growing up too, I was like, why the hell are they calling it Cleveland Indians? You know,
Yeah,
I, I was like growing up, I didn't get, like, we had the Braves as well, we had the Redskins, and
that's
like
what
those
somebody
ones
else
like
said in the
annoyed
chat.
me.
The Braves, yeah.
Yeah, like those kind of annoyed me, and then just kind of like it's not the end of the world.
But then if you hear the history of why Cleveland call them the Indians, and you don't mind it so much
Yeah, but
because
it's
it was
also like it's up to them to decide. I mean, like their local natives in Cleveland probably hate it for whatever reasons as well. And I'm like, yeah, that's your thing. But
yeah.
to
And then
me, in my own opinion, I get it.
the logo that they used was kind of cartoonish too, right?
Yeah, I mean, a
Because
lot
like
of
you
it is
said,
cartoonish.
lots of companies will use the image of a brave, a strong hunter, usually out there by himself, looking at some big game. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah,
symbol
exactly.
of it's a symbol of strength and all that's good that comes with that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get a bunch of people going, you can't say that.
Yeah. You also get some natives that just don't like it either, because they just have so much either trauma or just dealt with so much systematic bullshit and they just hate anything and everything. Just angry people that just see it and be like, "Why the hell are you driving? Why the hell are you on that?" Like we've had that a few times. Like it was like two people. There was like a group of people. One person was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool, an Indian. I didn't know they were back." Blah blah blah. I always heard stuff about that. And then another was like, "Why are you riding that?" I'm like, well, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna ride it. I don't want to ride a Harley. It's like 6 grand more expensive.
Are they that much more?
Oh, at the time when I was in the market, yeah, they were a lot more expensive, but now they're about the same. I think India might even be slightly more expensive now.
I thought so too. I always thought that's why I didn't end up buying one. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mark.
like
Yeah.
years ago, it was a little cheaper. That's why I was like, yeah, no, I'd rather this.
Well, like you say, if you don't take it as an insult, and it's not meant as an insult,
Yeah,
then whatever, right? It is what it is. You see how the government treats your people a lot of times like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like boil water advisories on the same reservation for over a
yeah,
decade.
I was under boil water advisories the majority of my life.
Isn't that
Didn't
insane?
care, didn't care, didn't know much about it and everything, and then just kind of like, when I move away or whatever, I'm like away and I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm looking on Facebook, oh yeah, there's another boil water advisory, whatever, and then they're like, are you serious? Yeah. Oh, that sucks. And then like a month later, I say, "Oh, it's on and it's still on." They're like, "It's still on? What the hell?" I'm like, "That's not okay, man." I'm like,
No.
I don't know I don't know what to tell you, man. Go there and fix it."
And they spend all that time and effort and money trucking in all that bottled water. I
Yeah,
don't know. Common sense. So I'm not a plumber and I don't know shit about fuck all. But
just that mostly just outdated systems.
you would
And like
think,
my reserve, we
right?
have our own supermarket on there and everything, so we're good.
Like dig the well deeper to where the water's good and carry
Yeah,
on. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But what do I
yeah,
know? Again, what do I know? So yeah, but I can see where there. I can also see where you said that you got some guys like older people in your community that are just mad about everything because, like you say, they've probably been kicked at since their whole life since they were kids, right?
yeah,
You know, I
exactly.
I couldn't even fathom someone dragging my kid out of my house and saying, "Well, you can see him again when he's 18." No, no,
No.
no.
Yeah, and that was like the other thing about it as well. Like, when the residential schools ended in Shubenacadie, I think in the 60s, because it was in the 60s, it was no longer required federally to go, but was
Wow.
still systematically like recommended and not in paper, but forced upon. But when that was the deal, it just was not financially smart to, take all the native kids in the Maritimes and put them in one school. That transfer was a financial nightmare.
Okay.
And then so like it ended pretty quick, and then I think in the 70s we shut it down. I might be wrong on my which decade it was. It might be back or the same on what I'm saying, so take it with a little bit of grain of salt. But I think in the 70s we burned it down, obviously.
Sure. I would
And
have too.
then
Yeah.
And then we started healing since then, or we started, rediscovering and figuring it out. But it didn't end there because there was Indian day schools everywhere, which was
Oh,
essentially the same thing. Everybody that was there at the residential school just transitioned over there, and it was
and what? They
picking
just let them go
specifically
home
from the
at
church.
night.
Yeah, they just went home.
That was the only difference. They went home at night.
Yeah, and they
They
went
were
home to their residential school survivor parents.
right.
So like
Yeah,
it didn't solve anything. So like my father went to that. My uncles and aunts went to that.
and
They
and
were
nobody sent nobody along to try to help anyone deal with anything, did they?
no, like what can you do? You
That's
know,
true. What can you do?
you know what I mean? Like systematically, what can you do? That's like the other thing. Whereas a lot of people will think in the freedoms that you have now. There was no freedoms then. Everybody who was a status native, you were trapped on the reserve. And it's like you remember what it felt like during quarantine. That's what it was like every day of your life, but solely for the purpose of what you were, an indigenous person who refuses
Wow.
to surrender. It's like
So that
everybody's like, "Oh, I hate this. This is infringing my freedom." Blah blah blah. It's like exactly. Remember
exactly
that feeling
yeah.
because that's what it was
Because
for
now you
hundreds of years.
so quit asking why I'm pissed off.
Hmm.
And isn't there something on the poster said that one of the stops is at the site that used to be a residential school?
No,
Um,
no, 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 no.
okay.
There's each community has their own like memorial plaque for residential school
Oh,
students.
so that's
So
what these
like
stops are?
that's where it is. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
That's where the final stop and the honoring ceremony is. Every year, the whole community goes there,
Okay.
and they do ceremonies. They're gonna do that on Sunday, I believe, or on the actual day of Truth and Reconciliation, which is on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, I just heard an ad on it. Yep.
Yeah, so like we're doing the ride on Saturday as well. So it's just kind of like it's because it's the weekend we're trying to utilize. Not everybody's, even though everybody should have the day off on that Tuesday.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that's why you're doing the ride on the Saturday
yeah,
to
exactly.
try to get as much attendance as you can. No
Yeah.
mercy. Are you native as well, bro? He says we are not free. We can't even fish without a license. Or maybe that's just Canada in general, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, especially lately with, a lot of, I think it's Bill C5 or something like that. I'm a serving member in the regular force, so I don't really keep up with those policies that much. So I'm not really supposed to be involved with it anyway.
Oh, you're enlisted?
Yep, been in for
Oh,
8 years.
okay. Well, thank you for your service, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. But
But
there's
like,
another nightmare. Geez, we could go off on another rabbit hole talking about the military.
oh yeah, clubs are originatingly from that. But like what he's talking about in particular, we're a lot of bands, including my own, are making agreements. And here's the other thing too. It's like a lot of outsiders can't distinguish the difference between like the real band leaders or the real tribe leaders to the Indian Act chiefs.
Oh,
There is a big difference.
those are two different people.
Yeah, so like the Indian Act chiefs are who we refer to as chief and council who run our reserves. Who, shouldn't, it depends on your view, but in mine it's like you shouldn't really have a say in the whole tribe's rights. Even if all you guys are together, you are technically your position of power is coming from the systematic Indian Act.
So your power is coming from your suppressor.
Pretty much is the way to look
Right.
at it. So then it's always a conflict of interest. Most people see it as. So like what's happening, especially in my community, bands are agreeing to fishing tags, even though we're supposed to be able to fully self-determine, which means
Mhm.
our own tribe decides. And universally, for the longest time, we agreed on 200 traps per vessel, or I think it was per person for a while, but then that became too much, so we all kind of agreed on 200 traps per vessel.
That
But
got
200
bad down
traps.
there, didn't it? Didn't
Oh
somebody
yeah,
didn't somebody die last year? And
I
some
don't
things got caught on fire?
I don't think anybody died from it. I could be wrong.
But there
But I
was
remember
fire.
the fishing disputes was in 2020. And that got pretty heated. A lot of assaults, a lot of charges and everything. But recently with this new Bill 5 or whatever it is, they've narrowed it down to two traps per person, which and your band delegates who gets the tags and they only have so much. And it's like
So
you're all
that's
supposed to have.
yeah, that's not gonna work out very good. One guy who does the fishing is gonna have to go round up all these tags.
Well, it's
And
just the crew. It's the crew, right? They bring together their traps. But here's the issue that he's probably particularly talking about. DFO, even though this is their agreement and their plan that they did, are still taking the traps from those tags that they gave us, fining you, and then you have to go fight it in court or whatever, get it thrown out. But it doesn't stop the inconvenience, and then it stops, it hinders and stops, it deters people from fishing, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
infringing on our rights. And the first thing in the treaty right that says we can do this says they shall not be hindered.
that's the first thing they do is hinder you.
Exactly. And then for DFO or DNR, they're starting to follow the same footprint. You're supposed to be allowed to fish and hunt whenever the hell you damn well please. It's your right.
Right. That's
And
what I
then,
always thought First Nation was. If you
yep,
if you're hungry, go shoot a deer.
yeah, it's like that when you're indigenous, and it's even more like that when you're status native, like myself.
Right.
So like, but you go out there and they stop you because who the hell is gonna stop them?
Exactly. You need a police for the police. Phil
Yeah.
St. Ange from the chat says he rode with you this summer. Good luck with the ride. SGMC Fredericton. Respect. Right on, Phil. Thanks for dropping that in there.
Shaky Graves. Yeah, that was a nice ride.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't know what SG is.
Yeah, Shaky Graves MC.
And you've
No
also got
grounds.
another invite that I got to go back to. He's my tomorrow night's interview, and he was offering to go ride with you guys. His club in your club. He's got another riding club called the Canadian Motorcycle Cruisers. And that's what he said. Maybe we can hook up, Lennox. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
his info will be on the Facebook stuff tomorrow and all that. And No Mercy says, name an industry the government hasn't screwed up. That's true. And whatever happened, all men are created equal. They threw that in the garbage a long time ago, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think the white guy who wrote that down on paper meant it when he said it, but you know what I mean?
I don't know which follower wrote that down, but whoever was following him didn't. Not everybody listened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, oh man, back in them days, man, they were brutal way back in the whatevers, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a something that they can give buckets of money to and say, okay, you feel better, because that's not the thing. And it's like you say, who's going to help somebody through something that's already been done and it's done and it's happened for generations? I think the only thing is time, and get a few more generations and hold on to your traditions, right?
Yeah. Time is the key.
Yeah.
Effort is more what needs to be.
Hold on to your traditions and try to get that shit out of everyone's head. Eventually it'll happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
John
saying.
said give you a shout when we go down your way. That sounds cool, John. So he'll give you a shout.
Yeah. I mean, and like in our language, it was like a big common phrase or big common word that was always used and kind of made us hold on to our language, right? Was Wendasen Dan Wittebixen, which means don't forget where you come from. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's not just as simple as, where you come from, like Wittebixen. It's like your roots, your lineage, your culture, everything, every strand, everything that makes you you. Don't forget it.
yeah,
And like when I talked about the seven generations, it's not just, seven generations ahead. Because like seven generations to us in our club helps us make the right decisions when we make club decisions. Is that what we decide now is ultimately going to affect not just seven generations of our club, like that's coming up, but seven generations of our whole tribe. And,
nice.
and
So it's a
we,
bigger picture thing
yeah, and it's not just that. You're remembering the seven generations of sacrifices before you.
before you
And
as well.
yeah, their victories, their failures. So you're not doomed to repeat it, and you're better suited to build on that. You know your foundations.
Yeah, yeah.
No. And it's a continuous thing, and it just continues and continues and continues, and that's
And
how we
hopefully,
survive.
and hopefully you guys can keep on growing on that. So that's already that's already baked into you guys at this point.
Yeah, that's been our thing long before we got into clubs. It's something we were born with, essentially, because that's
I
part of our culture and identity.
I used to like it going down to the res. We had a native guy in our chapter when I was in the club back in the day. I used to like going down there and talking with his mom, and she probably wasn't really that old, but she'd seen everything and done everything, and she always had something to say that would go, "Oh yeah, I never looked at it that way," right?
Yeah.
Especially for defusing, defusing when anger's getting there and all that stuff, right? She's like, "Oh yeah." Now, do you guys, or do you leave it for the Tuesday, the big things? You guys do some traditional stuff at the end of the ride and all that?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the ride, we're doing an opening ceremony. So we're gonna have an opening prayer. We're gonna have we have what is it called? A deacon from the church. So like, here's another thing that we kind of deal with. I know a lot of people look at church involvement in part of this as being like, why are you doing that? They've wronged us so much, and it's like, it's called truth and reconciliation. We speak each other's truths, we hear it, and you can never reconcile with just one party.
Right,
It's a two-way
right.
street.
And
And
like,
then we also
get
in
an
our
argument
language,
with different.
yeah, in our language is a big situahan or a big situahan dermulo. Depends on the context, but it means forgiveness in a nutshell. But there, like
Okay,
I said, there's more to it than just simply forgiveness. There's like feelings and emotions into it. So, and for us, when it comes to medicines, our own traditional medicines are not really meant for non-spiritual things. So, like smudging our bikes, we don't really do that. And you would think we would do that, and a lot of people do that. And it's like, if that helps you find peace, whatever,
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
But like to us, it has no soul. These are for souls. It's a machine. As long as
right,
I
right.
take care of it, it's gonna run, right?
So smudge is for the person. I thought a
It's
lot of
for. It's
people.
not just for the person. It's for living things.
I thought a lot of people smudge their houses for evil spirits or to get the juju out.
Yeah, it's a barrier. But
Okay, okay.
it's the other thing. You're getting the evil spirits out. That's like, that's a soul.
It's for those spirits, the ones
Yeah,
you want rid of.
yeah. But when it comes to like the holy water, now that's for anything.
Right,
So that's
right.
what we're using it for. It's gonna bless the bikes, and we will bless you.
Oh, there you go.
So that's how we're gonna do it. So it's a safe ride. Even when you got a big herd and you got police pulling you, there's people who just hate bikers and
Yep,
just hate the inconvenience. So
yep.
it's still a safe ride, and it's not only that. It's the end of the season. It's us, trying to give you a good omen for the rest of the season until the next season starts.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
And then,
Do you guys got the community knows that it's happening and some help on the roads, or you're just gonna do it with your own blockers?
well, we have quite a few people. I mean, my club has 8 guys, about one official prospect, and a couple like 4 or 5 hangarounds.
Good,
But then there's also Celtic Crew and Celtic Crew. Now those guys, they have a lot of guys.
nice.
And there's also the Highlanders MC and their RC, the Claymore RC, that are going to help us as well. And then there's everybody else as well, obviously. So like, I think we have more than enough. I'm sure they'll, police will come tag along and do whatever. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. As long as they don't break it up or bug you or whatever. Do
No,
you
no. I mean, like they'll like escort us through once we tell them where we're
it takes
taking them.
some shit? Yeah, it doesn't hurt if they take an intersection, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years have you been running this particular ride? Is this
So
year one?
yeah, this is the first year. Like I said, this has never really been done before.
Good
And
for
all the
you.
proceeds, like I was saying earlier, like the elder survivors really valued education because they were brutally robbed of it. They didn't get no education.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like that's what they've cared about most, especially with like our particular area of elders and survivors. So what they wanted to see is that all this money, they don't care to have it.
right.
They're like, the band already takes care of them,
So
but
so
it's going to our school, to our
nice.
education, because every year our school board, our own teachers and faculty have to chip in however much money of their own salary just to get the extra supplies so that they can teach properly, right?
So you're gonna try to help ease that burden.
Yeah, and it's also just like, just systemically, there's a lot of unfortunate youth. They
Mm,
just need some help.
yeah,
And so they've asked us for years if we could help. And while we were still trying to get our our feet on the ground and everything. They're like, we will,
Mhm.
we will. And we're just figuring it out. We got to figure ourselves out now, and we got to deal with our own.
So
You know,
you
we
got
got to go through these growing pains.
you sound like you've hit your mission statement, and everything is well thought out now, and it's all laid out for you. So now you can get going with these things, right?
Yeah,
It'll
exactly.
feel good when the first one's done. And are you expect what are you expecting for attendance?
Right now it's looking like between 35 and 40. That's not
Good,
including my guys or the guys that are like helping running. That's just the people that are publicly saying they're going and telling us that, they give you my word, they're going to be there. So, you know,
John. Rally your troops, bro. I know you're not in Nova Scotia. Rally your troops. You got a couple days to get to Cape Breton. He's in New Brunswick. I don't know. I've never been east, so I don't know where
I'm actually, yeah, I'm in New Brunswick.
Oh,
Because
where
like
you're sitting?
I'm stationed here. So like that's the other thing too. Is like I lived on the reserve my whole life. Right
Yeah,
up until I was in the reserves for Army reserves for like 6 years, and I was a very active reservist. So I was like always out and about, and that's ultimately why I kind of started because I'm the founder of my club, and like that was the ultimate thing. Like I go on an exercise for weeks and weeks, and then be high pace, high pace, high pace, boom, 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 and then I come home to the reserve, and it was just like my particular area. It was very common for everybody to just be hopeless and helpless, and everything just stopped,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
just made you hyper vigilant. And a lot of other veterans can relate to it. Like it's that hyper vigilance. It makes you anxious. Your heart's going. The world's stopped. Like you just
yeah.
freak out because you need to do something. You got to get these tasks done. So I would go to my bike and ride, and it would
Mhm.
help. But the part I was missing was the camaraderie.
Sure.
So then I started gathering more and more, and then more and more bikers and my fellow native bikers, and then we just within my own community and everything, and we all came together and realized how deeply rooted all our current club values are and ethics, how deeply rooted it was in all of us as a tribe, and then
And
it
then
just it just came together.
that's pretty cool because, oh, by the way, John's in Dalhousie. That's where he's at. Well, round up the troops, John, if you can, and see if you can go show some support with these guys. It's their inaugural run. Is it food at the end?
There's barbecue planned, yeah.
Right on, right on. Now, you're only 24 and you already got this club together by yourself. That's pretty good work for you, man. How long you take?
Wasn't by myself. I did a lot of things. It was all a group thing, but I'm the one who led and kept the ball rolling.
Right on, right on. So you had no issue finding enough people within your own community for the first chapter.
Not really, because we were all riding together. Like
So
we were
so
all
you,
just riding together, and then it just became more. We just became more and more structured, and just me with my whole, my mind is a very regimental mindset from the military, right? And that was the other thing too, with like when we were talking to the school for help and whatnot. It's like as a soldier, I'm not gonna lead troops into a friggin', you know, a meat grinder or anything like
right.
that. I need proper plans. I got to make sure our missions are a success and not, set up for failure. Because I've been on, tasks and exercises where the guy just didn't know the orders, didn't know plans or anything, and it just all went to shit. Everybody got hurt. It's a nightmare.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not doing that.
yeah, yeah.
So like that was the ultimate thing. And then when it came to just like us like riding together and whatnot, there's the native pride. And then when we all got together and like, what are we going to name the tribe? Or what are we going to name the group? What are we going to name it? And then
Mhm.
that's where the conversation came across and everything. And then that was ultimately what we landed on, the People's Club.
Yeah,
That's what it
man.
came from. And yeah, and it was also like when it came to one of our big selling points around the area too, where people were just like, I don't know, I don't know. There's a lot of clubs here. I don't know which one's right for me. I was like, well, the first thing you got to do is hang around them,
Yes, yeah, it helps.
and then like come back to us when you got that, and then they would like do it, and they're like, yeah, I don't know about the a lot of white guys there. They'd always say that, and I'm just like, well, get to know them. They're still great guys. I'm like, oh no, 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 they're great guys, but like
Yeah,
what I want to do in this type of life is like help our people,
right. May as
and they're
well.
like, yeah, that's what we do. That's what we
If
do.
if that's the offspring of being in the club, then it's not a bad trade off, right?
Yeah, and
You
then
know,
it also a big selling point, like I was gonna say as well, was just like when it came to putting on the patch. If you're Ilnu, wouldn't you want to just wear your own tribe's patch? You know what I mean? Like, would you rather be Ilnu or would you rather be something else?
yeah,
Choice
yeah,
is ultimately yours.
yeah,
No harm, no foul. It's your choice. But like, that's kind of just how we like sold it, right? It's like
yeah,
this is you. Like every Ilnu person has the right to be Ilnu, but not
right.
everybody has the courage or has the ability to wear the responsibilities of this patch because it represents ultimately our commitment to each other to serve the cause, to serve everything on our patch that it represents. Because like
And
I only got to a little bit of pieces of it when I was explaining the patch, but there's so much more to it.
there's so much. And now, how many guys work together on designing the patch out? It looks
So
like
like
a group effort.
yeah, it was. Ultimately, I was the one who drew it out and everything and digitalized it because I'm younger, so I know technology better. So I'm the
The other
youngest guy.
do the
But
other guys come with a military background as well, or not all of them?
that's the irony. I'm the only one.
Oh,
I'm the
the other
only
guys
one that
have to
does.
be writers.
Yeah, and there's also another thing. There's not a lot of Native veterans. I mean, there's a lot, but in my community,
Oh,
there's not a lot that ride. Right
okay.
now, we have one hang around. Not sure where he's gonna go, or it's up to him. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna rush him or anything. But he was a veteran as well. So I'm also just like, all right, man. Come in when
Did,
you're ready, or go wherever you want.
did you guys take the big steps of fixing up a clubhouse for the club and all that?
No, we don't have one yet. That's why ultimately why we're still in RC.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the reasoning for it is like it's really hard. Like we want to stay within
Right.
our reserve. So and it's also hard to get anything in the reserve.
Yeah. Right. And then if
So
you tell me you want it to be a clubhouse, you know,
it's like they're not opposed to the clubhouse. It's just they want to know, like Chief and Council wants to know how they're going to get their end of the bargain here.
there's a weird story I heard go out. Oh, I should do an episode about it, but I don't know enough info yet. That Six Nations is apparently a dry reserve, and then somebody was complaining because there's a clubhouse on it, and apparently they got booze in their clubhouse, right? So it's
Mhm.
kind of it came to somebody's attention, and now it's out in the public and all that. So you know how that's going to go. I imagine somebody's going to get asked to move or whatever, right?
Or just withdraw it.
Or go dry.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
there's no problem with that. I've been to clubhouses that ran out of booze and we had just as much fun.
yeah, exactly, right.
So
The booze is a money maker if you're having a big party.
and that's the thing with our club. We won't have booze in our clubhouse because it's on our reserve, and it's like we're not opposed to drinking, but on our reserve, like on our territories, all our youth look up to us, and if they see us
Yeah.
drinking, they're gonna start drinking now. So like maybe not do that. What we do is we do a lot of non-alcoholic in our own little garage. We do our meetings and hang-arounds in.
So you're trying to set an example to the kids too, are you?
Yeah, it's like that's ultimately what it is. Try to lead by example. It's like when
That'll
we
be
go to, we're not all entirely sober. I am, but like
yeah, yeah.
it's because I'm a soldier and I can't have a lot of us drink and whatnot. But I'm always the goddamn designated driver because I can't have this booze in there. My stomach doesn't like it, and then
Yeah.
I go do my task the next morning. I can't do it because I'm just hungover or whatever. But
Oh,
like,
I stopped drinking a few years ago.
oh, good job. I mean, it's tough.
I smoke, but I'd rather smoke. You don't see a guy smoke one and then get violent, right?
Yeah, I mean, just anything to just
That's
go to
not.
sleep.
I grew up with an alcoholic Scottish father, so I see where booze takes you, right? Ooh, yeah. But
Yeah.
it'll be nice when you guys get growing and there's some money in the pot, and maybe you can start teaching kids how to ride dirt bikes and shit like that, right? And
And that's the other thing too on the reserve. You don't have to. That's one of the main modes of transportation. That and four wheelers.
oh, they already got it.
Yeah, like that. I mean, like all of my guys, we all grew up dirt bikes. I did. That's how it
Oh,
started
that's
for me.
cool.
Because it's
That
just
they,
like this is easy. So you can ride anywhere on the reserve, and the cops don't care. It's like
Sweet.
it's one of the most free, liberating things. As long as you're safe, that's all anybody cares about.
Yeah, you have to get them organized and make them a little track or something out there.
Yeah, but now that we're there, they have something to look up to. Like we all like we just see bikers just passing by the reserve, just like Sunday riders or something like that, just driving by. And we all
Yeah,
like thought they were the coolest things driving by the res. And now we are part of our own people and whatnot. And they know everybody knows us. Everybody knows us personally. So a lot of us are related to each other, or related to somebody else in the club that knows us. Like we're
yeah.
all intertwined. We're all interconnected.
So it's flesh and blood they can look up to.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I seen somebody out at the Oneida Res outside of London, and he did that in his backyard for his kids. There's some hills and some around the corners and whatever, right? You hear the dirt bikes out there. Why not? So, like you say, you got the whole res to ride around on. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
And smaller reserves that's just so handy to use. And then like on our reserve is pretty big. We have pretty decent mountain and a bunch of forestry in the back, right? So like it's just perfect. You just
Nice.
grow up knowing it. And then
Yeah.
another thing that like always was dear to me was the when we're around when we're around like we're out at our Tim Hortons on the reserve or just hanging out or something, right? Just in the public eye, waiting for everybody, get off their couch, get dressed, get ready to go for our ride, put some miles on. We're always hanging around. And then the youth guys will come up with us on bicycles or their dirt bikes or four wheelers, whatever, right? And they'll hear like they'll want to be, street guys, like want to
Yeah.
be Compton dudes or want to be gangsters, right? And
Yeah.
it's always hilarious. They'll see us and they'll hear us not speaking English,
Oh,
speaking our own language. And a lot of them try to, just like, oh yeah, just like when anybody was in school and you had to learn French. It's like, ah, yeah, yeah.
if you have to learn it, you don't want to.
Exactly, right? And that's
Then
kind
they'll
of
hit
like
a certain
pressure.
age and they'll want to.
Yeah, exactly. And then they would hear us just talking and talking, and a lot of them just didn't understand. And then they would ask us, "So, what are you guys saying?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just saying this. You don't understand?" And they're like, "No, not really. My family speaks it at home, but I don't really listen much." And I'm like, "Oh, you should start listening. So that's
Yeah.
ultimately how we learn. It's like you have an immersion opportunity here. You're being immersed by the language. Eventually, they won't be around."
What pulled you into the big bike kind of part of the world, and then into the club side?
Well, like I said, like always liked Indian motorcycles, and when I was saying like I was always hyper vigilant and restless all the time, and I would go to my bike. These are like Indian bikes, I just liked them, and the smallest engine they had was 1200, but I
Yeah.
liked the Scout anyway. And then getting into the club world, was the camaraderie, right? Like I was saying,
Yeah.
that was the piece I was missing when I was just out and about riding on my own or riding with one other guy. It was the camaraderie of all of us, the brotherhood, because that's ultimately the missing piece of the soldier, right?
Yeah. So
So like,
it wasn't like seeing another club in the area and being inspired, or your uncle
no,
was in a club somewhere, nothing like that.
no, and that was the other thing. You didn't really see, like, I didn't really see any bike clubs in Cape Breton. We didn't really know who was
Oh,
who when we started, because like, although it's very condensed and all the clubs are interconnected under a big agreement with each other, that we all got to get along with our neighbors, we're better together,
yeah.
regardless of who we are, native, Celtic, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else still sees us as bikers.
That's the thing. That's why I did this channel is was to give people an understanding that, oh, look at these people are bikers and look at the good they're doing. That's always been the main focus of this channel.
Exactly. And that's what we like doing. And that was ultimately what got me into it. Now for my other guys, I don't know, they saw Sons of Anarchy or whatever the hell, I could
Yeah.
care less.
Yeah.
But they've proven themselves, right? And like to me, it was like I know a handful, like a lot. I think a lot of soldiers know quite a handful about the MC or biker world because
Yeah. Yeah.
we all like bikes.
I, I did an interview with a fella from the Commandos, and
Yeah,
man, oh man, he was a great interview. Really, really good interview. And Lulu likes this show. She said, excellent show. Really enjoyed it. This young man has a great message and is setting a wonderful example to the kids. Respect to him. Thank you, Lulu.
I appreciate that. Kind words.
And John says Canadian Motorcycle Cruisers is another one of your is in Cape Breton as well.
Yeah.
And
I've also been away a lot lately from Cape Breton, and because I'm like I said, I'm stationed here in Gagetown, New Brunswick, right? So I'm
yeah,
more
yeah,
closer to Fredericton guys and everything. So like a lot of my guys probably know who you are as well. And every time I go down, I go there to take care of my guys, make sure everything's good, meet the other
yeah.
clubs, you know, and try to meet as much people as I can at the famous Center 200 Tim Hortons where all the bikers hang out. Like I try to
Well,
go there, but
at
I'm not
least
there
you're
all the time.
getting out. And John, as far as I recall from our conversation, he's opening a new CMC chapter, and there's already one in one part of New Brunswick, and he's going to be in another part. Is it New Brunswick? Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I think I said to you earlier. So
There's
yeah,
so many clubs here in New Brunswick. That was the other thing. Like in Cape Breton, there wasn't that many, and there was a decent, healthy amount in the rest of Nova Scotia. But oh my god, in New Brunswick, there's so many goddamn clubs. It's gonna take years to meet all of them.
where was that Iron and Ink show? Was that in New Brunswick?
Iron and eight.
Iron and Ink. I can't
I'm not
remember
sure.
the name of the city it was in. It looks like it gets a big like a lot of people seem to go to it. There's two big ones. Yeah, John's doing New Brunswick North, and they have a chapter in Nakowick. Nakowick. But it's there's plenty of nice riding out there too, eh? Like I asked Chat GDP to give me a list of the 10 most scenic bike rides in Canada, and I
Mm,
think like three or four of that whole list came from the Maritimes, right? The Bay of Fundy, the Calvert Trail, a
yeah.
few different things, right?
Oh yeah, Cabot Trail is a big like religious type thing for all the clubs in Cape Breton.
Yeah, they always
Beautiful
ride
ride.
that at least once.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful ride. Like it's unreal,
Although
unreal the landscapes.
my little brain's been turning hard. This is my second year. I had to sell my street glide
Ooh,
for bills and shit, which is stupid. I shouldn't have anyways, but anyway, so get another bike under my ass for the spring, and then I'd like to start heading out on some of these. Get out of Ontario, get down to Nova Scotia, and shake hands with guys like you that I've had on the show. Maybe do a quick live, go for a ride, see you down the road, right? I'd love to do that because I think that would bring tons and tons of more people interested in watching the channel more than I've already got. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, we're not. I know some clubs, like it's so easy for media to twist what bikers do and everything.
yeah,
To us, like we never really cared. We're not hiding or anything. We don't hide anything.
and you're not trying to portray the outlaw image.
No, God, no. That's not us.
No,
We're
leave the 1% guys to do the 1% stuff.
yeah.
They're always going to be there. So there's no sense trying to buck against a system that's already entrenched, right?
As long as you stay in your lane, you don't interfere in anybody else's lane. Everyone
Right.
rides happily to the same destination or whatever their
Exactly.
destination is. Like, and then like I was talking about earlier, riding the red road. That's what a lot of native clubs end up finding each other.
Right, right.
The metaphorical red road is we all seem to have the same goal, but how we get there is not where we always agree. But we all want to see each other get to the destination, and that's just where we kind of keep peace amongst each other, and it's where we kind of unify. And it's one other thing, like non-native clubs, when they see native clubs, how tight and close we get with each other pretty
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
And it's like that's what it is. We're on the same
Yeah,
path here.
right. And there's a mutual respect almost right from the start, which is nice to see. There's no bullshit and stuff like that. Well, we had a couple little stupid remarks in our chat, but it is what. Well, what would you say? This is just hypothetical, and if you don't want to answer, don't. What if a cool international club like Red Rum came and said, "Hey, we wouldn't mind putting a chapter here. Do you guys want to switch over?" That might be something cool.
Yeah, I mean, it. They're a big club, and you know, just because somebody's a big club, you have the same goal. Like I said, you might not agree
Yeah,
on how to get there, and as
yeah,
long as both parties can respect it, which they should respect each other's goals. That's for everybody. Even if you meet a 1% club, you establish that. It's like, all right, you're man enough to stand
exactly.
on your own end. You got your own thing. I respect that.
Yeah,
Respect courage. Being straightforward with it, and like, yeah, like you want to patch like you want to patch over or something like that. Ultimately, to me, it should be a club decision.
absolutely.
And it's like, and if you individually, want to do it, you have like, let's say another hypothetical, you have a club and another club wants to patch you over, and you have
Right.
one guy that's like, I want to do it, but the rest say no. You
Yeah.
know,
And
think
he's welcome
about
to go do it.
yeah, it's like you have the
Yeah.
freedom to do it, but also think about the consequences. As a soldier, that's what I'm always thinking of too. It's like there's consequences to everything, no matter how
And,
little it is. So
and
it's
I
like,
bet you if you guys as a club, said, hey, Red Rom or Warriors or something was having a gathering and you guys contact and say, hey, our group wants to come and roll in on you guys. I'm pretty sure they'd welcome you over, right? Yeah, come
yeah,
on
we
over.
all look like regardless, even if if somebody's beefing with another. I mean, ultimately, we're just riding.
Yeah, man.
And it's like we've met Red Rum a couple times. They have a chapter in PEI and whatnot, and and they're starting to expand. That's that's their thing and everything like that. So like we met them, and
I like
again,
uh, I
and the
like following.
Warriors MC here in Fredericton, I have really close ties with ever
Oh
since
yeah,
I moved here. So, and we have quite a bit
like
of
I
an
say,
alliance. So,
those guys, I just kind of followed them because they hit my Facebook a lot, it seems, and I dig what they do. Is like I say, as far as the community work and all that, and keeping it close and taking care of their own, right?
oh yeah, and they take care of this. They're able to so successfully take care of their community and their own is because they take care of each other so well.
Yeah, yeah,
And
man.
that was one thing I really like seeing. Like every other club, you can see when you go to their club, I just see how close they are. Hanging out. Really having a good time and whatnot. But you don't
Yeah,
really see their day to day and how close, like the real what that brotherhood and that brotherly love, that everything, right?
yeah,
You don't really see the nitty gritty, the guts of it, because it's like they're just here, they have guests over, you're on your best behavior. But when I was hanging out with, the Warriors MC, then I'm just like, yeah, I'm all alone here. My club's in Cape Breton. I'm stationed here, and they welcome me with open arms because First Nations clubs, right? And
that's
then
cool.
I've fully seen and experienced like how they take care of each other. And it's also the story of like how I got with them, and it ties with the Shaky Graves MC that commented earlier, right? Like they put out a ride out. I went out there. I was like, all right, I've been here for a little bit. It's time to check in on the clubs. I want to start wearing my colors and everything. I'd rather answer questions and have them unanswered and put myself in a weird situation.
Yeah.
And then we went out, and then Warriors MC had Steve Whalen. He got into a horrible accident and everything, and
Oh,
they
I
had a
I saw the GoFundMe.
yeah, exactly right. And then they had a sacred fire out and everything because it was really not looking good.
Yeah,
And I saw it when we were at one of the stops. It was with Shaky Graves, the Valhellians, and a couple of just independent guys, right? And then I was meeting those guys, answering some questions and everything, just having a good time. And then I saw it, and then I was like, well, they have a sacred fire, like they're a native club. I'm like basically obligated to go support them. I've never met them, blah blah blah. None of that matters. Like
yeah,
I go gotta go support them. And then they asked me, like Shaky Graves guy, and was like, you gotta go to that? I'm like, yeah, I was about to say, are we heading back? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna head back. And then I was like, all right, let's go. And then I went there, met them all, talked to them about my club and everything, like I was just saying, but in more detail and everything. They loved the idea, they loved everything, and they're like, we want to see you succeed, brother, and everything. And then I was like, all right. And then we prayed and prayed. And the big thing is why I got such good respect and close ties with them is it really wasn't looking good for Steve. Like it really was not. And a lot of the guys, were kind of losing hope. And then I had to remind them because I grew up traditional. I was like, we're at the sacred fire. You know, there's our spirits are here, and you got to be careful with what you say. You got to be careful with what you think. You got to be careful with your intentions because they hear it and they take it. That's how our prayers are answered. So if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm losing hope, man, they will bring that. And so it's like you got to be strong for them. You got to be there. It's not over until he takes his last breath when the ancestors take him. Like, so keep praying, keep being hopeful. And then, sure enough, slowly started recovering. But I
Good.
also
Wow.
am an active soldier.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, it's 1 in the morning, but I gotta be on parade. I gotta report at 7:30 in the morning, and I gotta go out to the field. I wish I could stay longer, but I really gotta go back. And they're like, yeah, no problem, man. We understand. And then
That's
shortly
cool. So
after,
you got a good bond with them guys.
yeah, and that's how it ultimately started. And I kept coming back. I kept showing support and everything. And then they're just like, they've been wicked
Hopefully they'll
dudes.
come up and have some time for you on this weekend.
Yeah, they're planning to come out. That was the other thing. It was a big thing. They wanted to come on out and support. And I was just like, yeah, I welcome it, but I don't obligate anybody.
Yeah, yeah,
And like,
yeah.
we'll help you. We'll take care of you guys. We'll do whatever you need. And we appreciate the support. And they're like, well, we want to support you. You supported us through a tough time. And,
That'd be cool, man.
thankfully Steve is recovering and a long road, but he's doing good now.
Well, man, that's a good thing. But like you say, it is going to be a long road from even from what the GoFundMe said. They're still trying to help them.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's still up. Yeah, yeah. All right, brother. Well, I think. What do you think? You think we covered it? You
Yeah,
think?
just, I mean, if you have any more questions or anything like that, yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, I think I covered what I wanted to. Did we cover everything you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, one other thing I wanted to point out in my patch is the most significant
Oh,
part.
sure.
The
Yeah, yeah. I didn't mean to discount your patch.
Oh, no, 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 that's all right.
Here we go.
So like you see the loops here. I got a picture of it here as well.
Like the things
Loops
that
here.
kind of look like sixes.
Yeah, this piece here, right? I don't know if you can see it. The loops that go around.
Yeah, yeah.
That is our hieroglyph for Ulnu.
Which
Like
you said means
person,
people,
people of
person.
the tribe. Yeah, like Ulnug means the people. That is the emblem, the symbol of our people.
That
That's
that
like
is.
yeah. So like that is ultimately what Ulnug is, and then everything that makes somebody Ulnu, the values, the core values, is inside of it. That's where everything else is.
What's the hatches for?
So originally when we designed it, and like I was saying earlier, like I drew it, but everybody had a piece because we've designed this so many times. But the hatches, right? The tomahawks, the peace pipes is what they actually are. Most people call them tomahawks. It
Oh
was
shit! I
originally
didn't
supposed to
realize
be.
that.
It was originally supposed to be a peace pipe and a musket, and the reason for it is because that particular part of the patch represents a couple things. So in modern terms, and a lot of veterans know, cross swords means like army, means regiment or whatever, right? So like it's cross tomahawks because it's like supposed to be that, but a native interpretation of it. But it was supposed to be a peace pipe and a musket because that particular part represents our treaties, the peace and friendship treaties.
Oh,
So it was originally signed in Halifax for we did a burying of the hatchet ceremony. So we buried our peace pipe and they buried a musket.
and that's what they actually called the ceremony at the time.
Yeah, because like was the that was our old way of like symbolizing that we're
The
at
peace
peace.
over.
Yeah, the war is over. I can't fight you if my weapon's in the ground. Have
Right,
to
right.
dig up. Have to dig up my past and end the pact. Just like how when you came up across another group, you broke your arrow. If you didn't speak the same language, you broke your arrow to tell them like not here to fight, and then you started talking. And like that was
Oh,
another piece of it. You buried the hatchet. That's where it came from. It became more of a racial slur because then it's just like, oh, let's just bury the hatchet. It became a
patch.
common saying.
It became yeah. And Kayla Anderson says slick patch, very nice.
Yeah, thank you. And but we couldn't figure out a way to make the musket and the tomahawk look nice. It looked wonky, so we just put two peace pipes instead to symbolize peace and friendship, and the fact that it's supposed to be a modern symbol for like a regiment or like, you know what I mean, like a group like that.
Okay.
And then
A
the
peaceful
war
group.
paint, the war paint on it
Right.
in
Yeah,
native
he does got
culture.
war paint.
The war paint in native culture is what warriors would do to tell the spirits that they're ready for anything. And that
Oh,
was ultimately what we had, is like we're ready for anything to get to our
okay.
cause.
Right on.
And in the skull,
Man.
almost a lot of clubs use skulls.
Um,
In our on the island, so many people use skulls, so we just picked it as well. But and in like a skull wearing a headdress, that derived from the saying, "A good Indian is a dead Indian." And we always had problems with that,
I guess
but
so.
we wanted to change the symbol, like the meaning of it, to meaning, you know, Waronu, Migma I am, Migma I'll die, or Ilnu I am, Ilnu I'll die. And then it was also to symbolize, I'm gonna ride in this life, I'm gonna ride till I'm dead, I'm gonna ride in the afterlife.
The,
So
the, the, these circles on either side got different insignia. Are they representing something too?
the circles, which part are you talking about?
You know, there's one on each side of the skull.
Oh yeah,
On
yeah. So
yeah.
that's what I was just talking about earlier. Those are um
Oh, is
the
that the
lyrics are,
constellation in that you were saying?
yeah, the one on the right is the constellation, the one on the left is the symbol of the emblem of the Grand Council,
Okay, I get you.
which is who we recognize as our true sovereign leaders. And ultimately the club, you know, serves them.
My dog is getting every interview. Stop,
Yeah.
buddy.
I
Jeez.
have a loud dog too.
Quiet, man. He's a
But yeah,
good.
like
Gotta have my
the
dogs though, man.
when it comes to chief and council, yeah, we have them. But if they told us to do something, we just be like,
Right.
sounds good.
So which one is the one that does all the negotiating with the government and that?
That would be like Indian Act chief and councils. So it'd be
So,
like chief and councils under bands. It's a very complex mindset, complex system, but like we call those, you know, Indian Act chief and councils or whatever. But the Grand Council is like the hereditary traditional government that our tribe used since time immemorial.
and
And
that's nationwide.
yeah, that's our tribe wide, yeah. But they
Okay.
always get overlooked by the government because they don't have money or power. They just have respect amongst the tribe. That's where their power derives from.
So the
So
government doesn't speak to them when they're making these big decisions, I take it.
not always, and it's not just our tribe. There's a lot of other hereditary chiefs across the country that deal with the same issue.
Right.
It's also just like you go to one place, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is our hereditary chief." You go to another one, no, there's this one too, but they're the same tribe, and they're like, "So how
Oh.
do we do this?" And it's like, "Well, bring them both for one." But for us, there's one.
Well,
There's one systemic chain.
okay.
We had very easy direct chain of line or chain of command, and the two highest ranking is the Grand Chief and the Grand Captain, and they both live in our home community. So, like to us, we all agreed if they tell us to do something, we do it. We're bound. 'Cause they're the leaders of the tribe, and we serve them. And
And
they've been
are they elected by the people? Are they selected by the people?
no,
Or no?
so like a Grand Council member will be trained from birth, and this is passed down from generations. So like
Wow.
they'll have sons, and then they raise them from birth to fulfill their role. And if they can't, then somebody within the clan or family, if they have somebody who is also trained that can fulfill the role, then that person gets it. But it's usually a direct line, son
Wow.
to son to son to son. And it's been like that for generations. Now,
It's almost a monarchy.
exactly, it's essentially a monarchy.
Yeah.
But I think in the 20s or so, or maybe a little sooner than that, my great great grandfather, Gabriel Silboy, was the first elected. But he wasn't fully elected by the people. The people of the tribe had their opinions of who they thought, and then all the captains, the Badus, who's the knowledge keeper, the grand captain, all got together on who was more suited from like the training perspective of it, who speaks the language, how much they know, history, everything. And then they all pick from who the people nominated, right? So it was ultimately the council gets the final say, and then when the new grand chief was elected, there was the new dynasty.
So it's got potential to get confusing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's all confusing.
Hey, Doug, thanks for joining us. And Kayla is actually Jeff. He just used his old lady's account. Yeah, whatever it takes, brother, as long as you're here. I appreciate all you guys who come in the chat.
Yeah.
And man, it makes the makes it even when I'm just doing a show by myself, I'll just talk to the chat sort of thing. It's interesting, right? For the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeff
man.
Person.
Yeah, we got Lulu. Lennox is going places. I expect to hear more from him in the future. Cool patch, meaningful. Thanks for that, Lulu.
I believe that. I
Yeah,
agree.
man. Well, listen, bro. I I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Are you good with that? I
Yeah, I got to work in the morning.
hear
Yeah, you
nothing
said
but
everything.
you know what, man. I'm very glad I met you. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this shit. I like these interviews that are I learned something, right? So it was educational for me, and I hope everyone else thought the same. And John from the CMC says, "Good luck, Lennox. Right on, bro."
Good luck to you guys too on your expansion, and wishing good things for them as well.
Oh, sorry, Doug. Yeah, you got here at the end, bro. Yeah, we did good. We did an hour and a half. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too, I got my status card here in case anyone's wondering. These
And
things are hard to get.
that one fucking guy actually put that in the chat. I think he took his messages down, which I appreciate. I'm glad he did. You know what I mean?
I get it. There's a lot of non-native people, infringing on our rights and trying to get false status and everything. And there's a lot of fake status folks out there. Believe me, I'm not one of them. I speak
No,
my
no.
language. I grew up on the res. The only reason why I left is in service to this country.
Well,
So
man, I got to, it's a weird story and it's a personal story, but I'll rematch you, man. And you take care, Bob. Fuck the haters. Yeah, man. That's where we're at, Doug. Fuck the haters. My, a kid that was allegedly mine. His mother was native or had enough status. Her grandmother lived on Walpole Island, and now, of course, she didn't tell me I had a kid with her or nothing. She just went and had a kid and did her thing. And we met up again when he was an adult. This guy and he said to me, he said, being white skinned on the res, he said all I did was fight.
yeah,
He
same with
said
me.
he said so, you know, I was told I was native, but the other natives told me I was white. He said so I didn't know who the hell I was.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's no way to leave a kid not knowing, understanding. You know what I mean? That you got to be something.
yeah, I know exactly how it feels. I know I can relate heavily to it. And thing I feel bad for, is he, might not have known. It's one thing you're native, but then
Yeah,
you're also trying to know what the white side is, right? Because you want to feel at least connected by both, so you can make a common, gap, so you can find where you go from there.
right,
Because
right,
that's ultimately what helped me. Like I knew I was native. Can't live on the res if you're not.
right, right.
You can't go to my native school there. That's a segregated school. You have to be First Nation to go to
And
it.
yeah, and I
It's like,
did. I think he showed up when he was like 6 or 7, right?
yeah, I had blue eyes. I had bright gold blonde hair. I didn't have any years of tanning, so I was just white as paper, like white as the paper I have here. But like to me, my mother is half Mi'kmaq, half Sicilian, and she grew up in Boston. My father is Mi'kmaq, it's all they ever known, but the family knows they have some Scottish down the line somewhere. So like I knew exactly what I was and where it came from. And I'm still close to my Sicilian family there in Boston. I grew up just as Italian American as I did Riz.
All right, on
Yeah, so like I
food's
went
good.
to yeah, exactly. I went to my Sicilian family's home with a nice meal with a res appetite, just ready to just eat everything.
Ever.
And then I would go back to, back to my home res and be like, I'm gonna show you how to cook.
But bro, those Italians know how to eat. They just keep the food coming, don't they? I loved it. I had
Yeah, my
tons.
grandmothers would always guilt all my cousins. They're like, "Oh, I'm so bloated. What? You don't like my food?"
Yeah, yeah, mines, mines.
Yeah, exactly. And I was, a res kid who just loved to always eat all the time as well, and burn it all off running across the res and doing everything. So I'd show up and just be like, "Oh my god, this is good food." I'd eat everything. They'd be like, "You want more? Of course I want more. Keep going." Like,
Exactly.
I like this one. Never
Another
had
great.
complaints.
We got one from Sean Lee. Another great interview, Bob. Lennox, keep up spreading the good word.
Yeah.
Right on, Sean Lee. Thank you for that, man.
That was
No,
another
man.
fun thing. I used to always tell my guys, be like, we're at a powwow or something, be like, talk to whoever you need to talk to, but spread the good word. And then I had to like clarify with them later on. Like, when I say spread the good word, I don't mean the good word of God. I mean the good word of our cause.
No,
I continue to do that.
I had all these friends in Toronto that were Calabrese, man. And when they went over there and their old mom was cooking, she just keep laying out the food and laying out the food. And you're thinking, okay, that's got to be the end. And nope, there's more stuff coming, man.
They see you eat and they're going to keep cooking. They'll have
and,
leftovers and reheat them and trick you into thinking it's fresh. And you
and
feel so guilty to not eat it, you will eat it and think it is fresh. I ain't
Doug's got a
complaining,
long
man.
Doug's got a long one. We'll give him one more shot. LOL. A few white boys tried living on the res out west here. It took years for people to accept him and his native wife and kids, but he had a fuck of a time fighting at 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to learn how to fight, and oh my God, did I ever have to? I grew up playing hockey as well, so fighting was just naturally in our favor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. They used to pull some great hockey players out of the Sioux from the
Okay.
reses up there. And Teddy Nolan, the coach for the Buffalo Sabres back in the day, right? He
Yeah,
was from up there. But it was unfortunate with those kids. You had to get them like, and just get them focused only on hockey because you just can't let them just do the thing in the community.
yeah, and unfortunately, that's a universal thing. I was fortunate enough to play, national Aboriginal hockey championships where I played with, top native players across the country, province to province. And when we're on the ice, hate each other, and then when we're all staying in a hotel, we got to talk to each other and just guys being guys, beat each other up one day, your friends the next, right? But like
Hockey,
we'd all talk to each other, and that's exactly it. Like we were all dealing with the same things, just in different area codes.
yeah, man.
Some a little bit worse than others, obviously. Like the northern teams, like Team North, where it encompassed all the territories. You get guys that were like, my whole home is ice. All I do is play hockey, and you're like, yeah, you don't tire.
He escaped for days, bro.
Yeah, and then we'd also tease him, being like, but you also don't stick handle well, so we're gonna help you here.
Yeah, yeah. All
God,
they've
you could.
had to get around was the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, bro. I hope like how this weekend's a good success for you. I think from the sounds of it, sounds like you guys got everything worked out, and and we'll be back in touch, man. We'll do some updates down the road and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
appreciate it. Hopefully, I can get a couple other guys in as well and see how they
yeah,
go.
man.
They also just like keeping to themselves, like I said in the
Yeah,
beginning. They like keep to ourselves. With me, and just like gotta get the word out there one way or another.
tons of guys are camera shy. It's like it's ain't no beauty contest.
Yeah,
We just want to get the word out, man. Get the word
exactly.
out about your club and what you guys are doing, and it sounds like you're on a great path, and you've thought it through. You're not just flying by the seat of your pants,
Yeah,
which is nice to see because the seat of your pants guys, unfortunately, like you said, they're what they call pop up clubs, right?
yeah,
They
and
pop up and then they're gone. So
yeah, and that was funny too. People thought when I first, popped around out here, they thought I was starting a pop up club. Like, oh no, 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 we've been around for a couple of years, just in Cape Breton.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, they'll ask you.
Yeah,
That's a
not
good
a
thing
pop
about
up club.
bikers. They'll ask you. They're not afraid to ask. So just ask you, right? That's a good thing about
Yeah,
bikers. It's up front. That's what more people need to be, is just upfront.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
Just,
like in the movies.
yeah, yeah. Don't tell them what they want to hear, but have a different opinion in the background. Just be upfront.
Yeah, just stay true to who you are. To respect that more.
Yeah, lay it out how it is. If it's good or bad or in between.
Yeah, as long as it's true and it's you, everyone will respect it.
Exactly.
And that-
Exactly. Well, right on, Lennox. It
Yeah,
was a pleasure to meet you, man. It was great
pleasure
talking
to
to
meet you
you.
too. I'm glad
Okay.
for it's been a great opportunity, great conversation. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you to everyone in the chat. You guys were excellent. You stuck in there for an hour and 40 minutes, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I really do. I love these guys. And I'm building a community here. This is my mission. I'm building an online community for us.
and I'm all for it. This world
Yeah.
runs on social media. So
Yeah.
best opportunity, change the systemic narrative of bikers and what
Right.
community really is. It's all
And,
about respect and support. And
and helping each other and helping your community and whatever you can do, right? And the brotherhood. It's hard to explain the brotherhood to anyone. So I'm just going to keep bringing it in.
yeah, more data they have, they'll get the picture eventually.
Exactly. All right, bro.
All right.
Much love and respect.
Much love and respect to you too, brother.
Talk soon.
All right, talk soon.
Bye. All right, everybody in the chat. That was Lennox. What a cool dude, man. I really like that talk. Thank you all, you guys. Please, if you will, hit the like button on the way out. And I've got another interview coming tomorrow with, what was it, Kevin, right? No, it's John. With John. So I got John coming tomorrow. He's here in the chat with us today. Can't wait to meet you too, John. It'll be a pleasure. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m., and we're going to hear about New Brunswick's newest chapter of the Canadian Motorcycle Cruisers Riding Club. So that's another great riding club, and they stretch coast to coast. And we're going to hear all about that one tomorrow. And Doug's got one more comment, something I found when God was nowhere I could find when trying to get clean. And my friend said, maybe just go with our other way prayers, and it's good. There you go. Yeah, but getting clean is a hard fucking job, bro. All right. Thanks, everybody. And Kayla, thank you too. And Sean Lee, thank you. And Doug, thank you. Yeah, we gave Red Rum a couple shout outs today, Doug. They're a great club, also doing the thing all across the world. All right, guys. Much love to everyone who stuck it in this long. And I'll see you back tomorrow. Thank you.